June 2025. The world is on the move, with summer in full swing and airports bustling with travelers eager for long-awaited vacations and reunions. The world is buzzing with summer plans, families reuniting, students returning home, and tourists exploring new destinations. But suddenly, everything changes. President Trump, now back in the White House, revives the controversial travel ban. It's déjà vu, a policy straight out of 2017, but this time, it's even broader and more sweeping in its reach. The new ban targets 19 countries, with 12, including Iran, Afghanistan, and Yemen, facing total entry restrictions. Millions are left in limbo, unsure of what comes next. The official reason? National security, following a recent attack in Colorado that shocked the nation and reignited old fears. Trump's message is clear: America's safety comes first, even if it means shutting the door on millions of hopeful travelers and families. For many, especially Iranian Americans, this isn't just politics, it's deeply personal, reopening old wounds and fears from years past. Over 1 million Iranian Americans now face painful separations from family, with dreams put on hold and futures thrown into uncertainty. Weddings, reunions, and simple visits vanish overnight, leaving empty seats at celebrations and heartbreak in their place. The ban redraws not just borders but the very lines of family life, separating loved ones with the stroke of a pen. For those affected, no video call can bridge the distance. The ache of separation lingers, as families hope for a future where borders no longer divide them. Iran's response was immediate and fierce, with officials wasting no time in voicing their outrage to the world. Tehran condemned the ban as racist and supremacist, framing it as an attack not just on Iran, but on the dignity of all Muslims. Iranian leaders accused the U.S. of targeting all Iranians and Muslims, fueling a sense of injustice and collective grievance. Officials called it discriminatory, inhumane, and a violation of international law, arguing that such policies only deepen divides between nations. Prominent voices warned the U.S. would face global backlash, predicting that the ban would isolate America diplomatically and damage its reputation. On Tehran's streets, anger and resignation mixed. Many felt personally targeted, not just politically opposed, as if their very identity was under attack. Some Iranians pointed out the irony: while leaders condemned the U.S., their own families often lived safely in America, highlighting a disconnect between the elite and ordinary citizens. The ban felt like collective punishment, deepening mistrust and leaving families anxious about their futures and their loved ones abroad. For ordinary Iranians, it was a stark reminder they're caught between hostile governments and distant elites, with little control over their own destinies. The policy sparked debate, cynicism, and a sense of being trapped. Many questioned whether their voices would ever be heard on the world stage. In the end, it's not just about politics. It's about people feeling unwelcome and unheard, struggling to find hope in a world that seems increasingly divided. The travel ban's shockwaves went global, rippling through governments, newsrooms, and living rooms across continents. Headlines blared, and social media erupted with debate, confusion, and outrage. Iran and Venezuela loudly condemned the U.S., calling the policy fascist and divisive. Their leaders took to the airwaves, denouncing what they saw as an attack on their citizens and sovereignty, fueling anti-American sentiment at home. The African Union warned it would damage diplomacy and education, arguing that the ban would isolate communities and hinder international cooperation. African diplomats expressed concern for students and families suddenly caught in limbo. Some countries, like Somalia, took a softer approach, seeking dialogue instead of confrontation. Somali officials quietly requested exemptions and tried to maintain fragile ties, hoping for understanding rather than escalation. Aid groups and human rights organizations were united in outrage, calling the ban unjust and counterproductive. They organized rallies, issued statements, and lobbied lawmakers, warning of humanitarian consequences for refugees and families. They argued it punishes innocence and undermines America's image as a land of opportunity. For many, the ban contradicted the nation's founding ideals and threatened to close doors for those seeking safety and hope. Meanwhile, many U.S. allies in Europe and Asia stayed silent, wary of diplomatic fallout. Behind closed doors, officials weighed their options, balancing criticism with the need to preserve strategic partnerships. Their silence spoke volumes about the complexity of global politics. Sometimes saying nothing is a statement in itself, a careful calculation in a world where alliances and interests are always shifting. The world was left to choose: speak out and risk ties, or stay quiet and watch. Every nation faced its own dilemma, torn between principles and pragmatism. The ban became a test of values versus interests on the world stage, forcing leaders and citizens alike to confront what truly matters in moments of crisis. Strip away the politics and the travel ban's real impact is heartbreak. For 1.5 million Iranian Americans, it means missed milestones, weddings, funerals, and family reunions lost. Thousands of Iranian students, once drawn to U.S. universities, now look elsewhere as doors slam shut. Dreams of opportunity are replaced by frustration and rejection. Imagine saving for years to visit family, only to have hope erased by a signature. The ban judges people by their passport, not their character. It deepens divides, fueling an us versus them mentality. Critics call it racist and discriminatory. The U.S. insists it's about security. The truth is murky, but the pain is real. For those affected, the consequences are lasting. The question remains, is this about safety or something deeper?